Hey everybody, happy weekend. It is coffee time. So let's sit down and talk about this whole eclipse thing. I went off on a little bit of a tangent in my research and I have a theory. So if that's something you like to listen to, grab something to drink and spend a minute with me. So I started asking myself, why is this one so important? Why are they putting out school closures? Why are they putting out warnings that, stay off the roads because it might not be safe and all of this kind of stuff? And as I started looking at previous eclipse dates, and hopefully you guys can hear me okay with that noise, the stereo from a boat down in the bay there, it's a little ways away, is a very good stereo. I started looking into previous solar eclipses, and that led me down the road to the CIA website, which is fantastic for information. And I realized that it has something to do with the magnetism of the Earth, which has everything to do with a pole shift and all that kind of stuff. So stay with me. Now, when a solar flare happens, what it does is it actually demagnetizes us to a degree, okay? In all the reports, the last one I looked at was in the 1970s. There was a solar flare in 1979, I believe, something around there. And they measured it, and it only adjusted the Earth's magnetic force very minimally, right? But we all know on a quantum scale, minimal can be massive, right? And it specifically mentioned, a couple of reports that I read, specifically mentioned that because certain rocks, like granite, in the earth, and granite is everywhere, you guys, like it's absolutely everywhere, it holds magnetism. So when there is a solar flare and that magnetism is affected by lessening the gravitational force and the magnetism in the earth, we could be looking at potentially a massive earthquake or earthquakes. And that would explain all of the bunker activity. That would explain why everybody is so worried about being prepared on this one in particular, because maybe what we're going to receive from the sun's blast when we have a solar flare followed by the eclipse, maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe it's about the magnetism of the Earth shifting, like, noticeably, and that would also have an effect on our magnetic poles, right? That's just one theory. Here's theory two. Now, this 3 days of darkness, aside from all the conspiracy theories and all that, is apparently because we're going to be going through a photon belt. And that is why the sun will appear to disappear for 72 hours to 5 days. So 3 to 5 days. Which is why they're telling us to prepare and all this kind of stuff, right? The darkness days. It will affect everything. There will be no solar power. It's going to be weird. Okay, it's going to be weird. And it has happened in the past. So we know that the likelihood of it happening again is very high. So yeah, so those are the biggest possibilities that I can come up with that are based on scientific research and past events that would make us believe that a future event is possible and could be worse than the other ones. That's originally why I started going down the hole, was to find out when the last solar eclipses happened, what were the major events of the world that happened around the same time, so that we could see what the effects were of the solar flare, right? And of the eclipse itself. So yeah, this one's really interesting, you guys. So in the meantime, we should always be prepared for any emergency at all times anyways. And if you're not, then start thinking about it. Nothing we can do about the sun. And if it does cause massive earthquakes, be aware of where you are on the tectonic plate zones. You can easily find that out by watching Dutch Synths over on YouTube. Find some people that do earthquake prediction and reporting daily, and you'll find out exactly where you are on the plate zones, right? Especially for those of you in Canada and the US coming up to this April 8th eclipse that's going to go right over a significant part of the eastern part of the United States and exits out of the eastern islands in Canada, okay? So be prepared, you guys. Don't freak out. We have been through many end of the world events. Everything's still fine. But we can't deny that things are getting a little bit more extreme. So just be cautious. Get out of your emotional zone. Research. Think. Use your thinking. Okay? And reach out if you're struggling. There's a lot going on right now, you guys. Okay? Don't panic. And it's okay to laugh during the apocalypse. So get some joy in your life. I love you guys. Talk to you later. Let me know what you think in the comments.